Were you with a narcissist that didn't ever seem to care? That didn't seem to care how you were feeling, the emotions that you were processing, the things that you were going through, the hopes and dreams that you might have had, the direction in life you wanted to go? Were you with someone that didn't seem to care? Well, a lot of times you see narcissists that don't care, but then it gets really confusing sometimes of like, wait a second, they also were the ones hurting me. It wasn't just that they didn't care because I was struggling or had a bad day, but like they also didn't care that they were the cause of that. That they were the ones that were actually hurting, abusing, and doing all those things to me. Did you ever feel like that? Is that something that you resonate with? Because a lot of times people struggle with that concept of like, wait a second, this person that came into my life that I love, that I gave my heart to, that we were invested, we were in like a marriage, we were in a relationship, all these different things, like they hurt me, and then they didn't even seem to care about it. What's up with that? If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. Myself, we're a narcissist on this platform to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. We do that on all the different platforms by providing small nuggets of truth that people can understand more about narcissism. There's more people that don't understand and don't see what it actually is. So we try to bring awareness so that people don't end up being with someone like me, someone who has done all these bad things, that has done all these things that has hurt and destroyed relationships, and so they can avoid it. And then they can heal and they can grow and they can change from getting out of those abusive relationships. Well, we're on all those platforms. If you haven't had a chance, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, just follow us under Raw Motivations. If you're driving, you can listen to the podcast on Apple or on Spotify under Raw Motivations as well. If you want to get involved with the community, like-minded people, maybe you're isolated and you're not sure how to be able to get support, how to be able to get help. Well, there's encouragement and there's accountability inside the NARC app. Go to narcapp.com, N-A-R-C-A-P-P, narcapp.com, and that's where you can actually see what's going on with the app there, join in the weekly lives and the monthly coaching calls, different things to be able to help you through your healing process and then continue to move forward in that growth, healing, and change. If you want to talk to me one-on-one sometime, then go to rawmotivations.com. Would love to work with you. Would love to help you and coach you to get to clarity from the confusion making of everything that's happened in your relationship. Well, like I started off and said, a lot of times people wonder and they get confused with the idea of like, wait a second, like the narcissist hurt me, but then it seems like they just didn't care. Because it's true, in those relationships, in a narcissistic relationship, you're going to get hurt because of the ego, because of the entitlement, because of the manipulative, the exploitative nature, like all different types of things. You're going to get hurt, you're going to get abused, you're going to get devalued, and you're going to get discarded. All those things happen inside a narcissistic relationship almost every time in almost the same exact pattern because of how they're interacting and because of how they're dealing with the stuff that's inside, with the guilt, with the shame, with the things that they don't want to be honest about. And as a result, that defense mechanism kicks off and it's used to abuse other people. Maybe the narcissist hurt you of how they screamed at you, of how they'd rage at you, how you see the eyes turn black and they'd come at you. Maybe they raged at you so much that you developed more anxiety or different autoimmune diseases or OCD or, got into panic attacks or different anxiety levels that were ramped up so much from that intenseness, from that adrenaline, from that abuse that happened in your life. Maybe your narcissist was more of a violent person, not just raging at you, but also hitting things, breaking things, hitting you, and then coming around and comforting you. Then coming around and trying to pick up the pieces, put it back together, and then going right back to the same thing. Maybe the narcissist in your life broke things, punched holes in the walls, threw things, and then walked away and let you clean up the mess. Maybe they said awful things, maybe they devalued you, maybe they yelled and screamed at you, and then they walked away and you haven't heard from them in a week or 2 weeks. It's very true that narcissists hurt other people. A lot of times people don't like me bringing this up. They're like, you're stigmatizing narcissists. You're saying like, hey, this whole category of people is abusive. And when you look at the 9 traits of what narcissism actually is and you apply them every day to relationships, then yeah, a lot of it is abusive. But a lot of it is also my personal story, my personal relationship with my wife, with that journey. I never hit her, but I threw things. I broke things. I'd rage so much to put in those states, the anxiety, the panic attack. And I'd walk away and let her deal with the mess. Narcissism abuse is real. The hard part is when you're in a relationship with someone that you love and that you care about, the question then pops up after they've hurt you, why didn't they care? And why didn't they care about me? You see, in the relationship, you've probably invested a lot. Time, money, energy. There's probably a lot of situations and instances in the relationship that you've changed for that person. That you've changed for them. That you've modified yourself, what you believe, what you care about, what you do. Maybe you've helped them. Maybe you've supported them. Maybe you've helped pick them up out of the gutter. Maybe you've helped them grow in different areas. You've even been invested in their life. Maybe you're the person that provided for them. Help them as they didn't have a place to live. They came in with you, like they got a job, they moved on. Maybe you're the person that cared for them and loved them so much. And then the question still prevails time and time again, why didn't they care? And why didn't they care about me? Do you struggle with that? Do you struggle with that thought and with that feeling? Because a lot of times people do. I'm going to talk about 3 things. That's kind of like presumptions in that thought, in that question, that I wanted to bring to you from like my perspective, so you have a little bit more of an idea of why the narcissist didn't care, but then also why you're looking for that. First one that I want to talk to you about is a lot of times you're presuming that all people care the same as you do. Every human out there is different. Every person out there is different. And they have different levels of empathy, of love, of humor, of care, of everything. And a lot of times we want to, just across the board, we want to put that care on someone else of like, oh, they should care as much as I care because everybody cares that way. When oftentimes that's not the case. Like, for instance, I don't care for different types of food. Like, I don't care for Brussels sprouts. My wife loves Brussels sprouts, but like, I don't care for them. I don't like them. That's a difference. It's the same thing that happens in that narcissistic relationship of even caring for other people. Now, does that seem a trite example to a giant example? Yes, absolutely. But in the narcissist mind, there's not really much difference. Everyone is different, and how they process those things is completely different. A lot of times you think because you care that the other person should care, or that the other person should have the same level of care as you do, when oftentimes that's not the case in a lot of life. Second thing is, a lot of times you're presuming that they value the same values as you. This is normally where you start wondering, like, am I worth it? Like, why didn't they care? Does it have to do with me? Does it have to do with my worth? And you normally start to think, like, wait a second, like, I think that they should care because, like, I'm a good person. Because, like, I am actually the person that, they should love. They should see everything that I've done from everything I've changed. When in reality, they're not really looking at that. They're not really putting up on the stand and being like, oh, like, I should value this person because they love me and they've shown that so many times. A lot of times it doesn't really matter. You see, when we normally think of them not valuing you the same as what you think you should be valued, or vice versa, or the same values, we normally think about worth. And I normally use the example of you have 2 people that pick up a diamond. One takes it, shines it up, makes it really nice, cleans it really well, puts it inside a case, puts the light just right, invites people over to be able to see, and they magnify what that diamond looks like. They say, isn't this amazing? And they value it. The other person takes the diamond, they throw it in the dirt, and they walk over it, and they leave. In those moments, the diamond as a whole did not change its value. But the person that was treating it changed their behavior, and changed what they were doing as far as like what they were ascribing that value to be. But it didn't change the actual value in that. And a lot of times people think like, wait, they don't value stuff the same as me. That means my value isn't good enough. That means I'm not worth it. Which should be furthest from the case. The third thing is that presuming that your care means that they will care. Like, I'm giving all this love, I'm giving all this affection, I'm giving all this investment. Why don't they care back? Well, the hard part is on the other side. With the narcissist, you've got ego and you've got entitlement, which right there just shows, hey, the things that you're giving me, you owe that to me. That's what is rightfully mine. That's what I'm supposed to do. You see, whenever the relationship ends up being equal, then that means on the narcissist side that they lose their ego every single time. Like, if I actually have to value you, if I actually have to care the same way, then my ego drops, my ego disappears, and that's not something I want to be able to give up. A lot of times you're thinking, hey, this person should care about me because I give so much care to them, because I'm a good person. In reality, narcissist doesn't care. What they care about is what they get from you. And so I've done a couple of videos talking about the toaster illustration, that a narcissist views you as an appliance, and when you stop producing, when you stop giving the narcissist what they want, you're no longer a use to them. You see, the thing you have to understand is that the narcissist cares about the mask, cares about hiding their true sense of self, and all the different aspects of that are going to hold up the image. That's what they care about. But they don't care about the fact that they hurt you. They don't care about the aspect of what they've done in the relationship. They just care to be able to protect themselves and to make sure that they and the mask that they've constructed don't get revealed. We're going to talk a little bit later today about, does my narcissist know that they're hurting me? Kind of like a sequel to this along those lines. But when you're thinking about it, when you're going through it, I want you to understand that the care is different. And just because you care, just because you gave so much time, money, energy, and love to this other person, doesn't mean that your value isn't worth it. It doesn't mean that you're not worth it. You're not crazy. You're not alone. You're not hopeless. Reach out for help.